So you've been to a therapist, a counsellor, a psychotherapist, or a sex therapist about your anxiety, your anger, your stress, your insomnia, or even your overexcitement. And they've advised some kind of breathing technique to calm down, to get grounded. And there are many of these: 7-11 breathing, box breathing, belly breathing, even lion's breath. And the therapist says it'll help calm you down, calm those emotions and fears. So you try it a bit, but you're not quite feeling it. And when breathing techniques don't work for you, that can add to the doubt and the stress. Is it me? Can I get anything right? Why does everyone else seem to be able to breathe through their problems and I can't? Well, I can relate. That's been me when I first started learning about breathing techniques, and it still is me now and again. Sometimes it's difficult to get into it. But I'm also one of those therapists who advises people to do a bit of breathing. So here are a few suggestions to help breathwork work for you. Firstly, set your expectations. We're not looking for an altered state of bliss here. Great if that's what you get, but chances are the benefits will be really subtle, especially at first. And we don't need to enter a blissful state sitting below a waterfall of enlightenment in order to be a bit less stressed about our work relationships or our mortgage. You might just feel a tiny bit calmer or clearer or more in control, and it might be barely perceptible. And really knowing this is helpful. It helps keep things realistic. Secondly, I talk about breathwork as being more like a hack. It's a hack with scientific foundation. We know that breath engages our parasympathetic nervous system. That's our more restful, resourceful state. Parasympathetic, think parachute. It slows us down. We're more able to think, to communicate, to make better decisions in this mode. And it's also a hack because it gives our minds something to do in the moment. That's usually counting to a specific pattern, or even saying something to ourselves like, "This too shall pass," or "calm and relaxed," or whatever works for you. Both of these things tell your amygdala, that's your brain's security officer who's always looking out for threat, that things aren't that bad and we're not at risk right now. And when we're facing a real, immediate threat, we don't count along to our breath. Our survival instinct kicks in and we run or we fight or we shut down. That's fight or flight mode, and it triggers before we even know it. But if our amygdala has turned that on for purely psychological reasons, because we're worried about work, or we're feeling like we've done something bad, or we're going to a party where there will be strangers, or we're going to have sex with someone, we feel fight or flight kicking in, that sicky feeling, or on edge, or that rush of panicky thoughts. So having something to do, breathing, hacks this a bit. It creates a slightly calmer environment in the body, and your amygdala takes notice. Everything calms down. One thing to note here, when you're doing deep breathing correctly, your belly will move a bit. All of these techniques require deeper abdominal breathing rather than that shallow breathing in the chest. Quite often, when we're learning how to breathe deeply, we're advised to place a hand on our stomach to feel our belly expand slightly and contract. That's where the good stuff happens. But quite often people say, "I don't really like feeling my belly move, especially in an outwards direction. I always try and keep that as flat as possible, hold it in." I get that too, and there's a bit of a cultural thing about holding in the belly, the gut, looking all flat and toned down there. So just say, try to let that go. It's a useful way to feel that you're doing it right. And when you do your breathing technique, sometimes you'll be out and about amongst people, and one of the big benefits of breath work is it's subtle. You can effectively do it as you walk around or during a conversation, or even naked and having a sexual interaction with someone. And they will not notice or think, oh, look at your belly going up and down. Oh, what's going on with you? So don't let your own self-consciousness get in the way here. Next, you can test this stuff out. At any time, maybe after watching this video, you can take a quick score of your stress levels at that moment. So from 1 to 10, maybe I'm a 5 right now. I'll do my breathing technique for a couple of minutes, 5 minutes, or I'll just go with it. Then afterwards, I'll take that score again. Chances are I've gone down from a 5 to a 4, maybe down to a 3. Maybe it feels the same sometimes, but it hasn't gone up. I'm managing my stress levels. Experimenting in this way will help you to get used to the technique, notice any benefit, and get you more used to tuning into how you feel, which is helpful in itself. And this brings us to another tip. Try your breathing technique when you're not stressed, when you're not under pressure. It needs a bit of practice and getting used to. If you wait until you're in the middle of that argument or you're sitting in that job interview before you try these techniques out, you probably won't do it. You'll be emotionally aroused and all this stuff goes out the window. Or you'll try doing it, but sort of, what was that again? Try and breathe out, 7, 11. It won't do much for you. When you've practiced it, got used to it at times when you didn't need it, it'll feel more natural. It'll come to you in the moment and actually make a difference. Even with some practice, there might be times when it doesn't really feel like it's doing much or you can't quite get into it. That's fine. Maybe work on it for a few more minutes a day or check that you're doing it right or try a different approach. And if you're really not getting it and you've given breath work a really good go, there are plenty of other ways to get grounded. There's a way to soften visual focus and take in peripheral things. I'll talk more about that in another video. Sometimes having a little movement, like touching 2 fingers together, can help remind us that we're okay, or noticing feelings in the body without any pressure to do anything or change anything, just having that awareness. All these things, including breathing, help us to get into observing mode, stepping one step back from the overthinking or freezing or panicking. The brain takes notice and things feel better. We get more choice in how to respond in whatever situation we're in. So, breath work and breathing techniques are absolutely useful, but don't stress it. And if your therapist has recommended it, talk to them, give them feedback. Don't let it feel like difficult homework or just something that's for other people. The benefits are real and there are plenty of ways to access them. We lead stressful lives, and more time in parasympathetic mode is time well spent. I'll link in the description to my quick video on 7-11 breathing, and of course there are plenty of other breathing resources out there. Good luck with your breathing and thank you for watching.